Greetings, conscious breathers, infinite beings alike, breath family. What is going on? We're going to tap into Brett Dojo 6, some upcoming events that is popping off all over, getting back on the road. Grand Rising, Amor. Grand Rising. Greetings, Cream. Yeah, I'll be up in Jersey around the 16th for my cousin's graduation, and then after that, on the 20th, I have an event with Sanctuary Den. So if you're in Jersey and you're interested, if you're in New York area and you're interested of coming to that, I think it's a 2-hour event, and we're tapping into scalar, but also we'll have about technically 3 sound healers tapping in. So I'll be doing a little, it won't be little, it'll be a pretty powerful session up in Jersey around the 20th. Washington DC, I'm not touching Washington. Like after Jersey, I might head either to Pennsylvania afterwards, and then come straight back to Miami. So we'll see. Most likely I'll be touching Pennsylvania. Gotta visit my boy Ron. So let's talk about the free Brett Dojo 6 ticket. So if you buy a ticket, you literally get to bring a friend. So I just wanted to announce that if anyone knows anyone in Florida area and would be interested in this, reach out to them. Let them know what's going up, not down, but it's going up. Where? No, that's a light. That's a light. That's not a tower. It's a light post. I myself would not set up anywhere near a 5G tower. Yeah, and this whole space has stickers all around, some scalar stickers. Unity, right back to you guys. So what else are we going to dive into? So we talked about New Jersey event. Again, if you're in... also, this will be online as well, too. Brett Dojo 6 is going to be online. It's going to be the first time I'm allowing people outside of Breath Family to join into Brett Dojo. And what Brett Dojo is, we start 3 a.m. Eastern Time, going all the way to 12 a.m. every 3 hours. You don't have to join in every session, so that's okay. And you still get all the recordings towards the end as well. So you don't have to join in every session. We do it online and in person here in Miami. So if you're interested in that, tap in. Do you recommend a breathing technique for a woman in early pregnancy with a lot of coughing and very bad phlegm? Sorry, I'm desperate. It's hard to breathe without coughing. Ooh, yeah. I don't know too much of your background, but if you're really interested, I've worked with, you can call me a man doula. I've worked with many pregnant women, and I'll just make it public. If you are quote unquote pregnant, and even if we do one session, if you can only afford one session, I literally give you my personal phone number, and you can call me, when you're actually, having the baby. Like that's how close I really am to just putting my all when it comes to mothers. So yeah, DM me and we can dive in deep. It's not just food. It might be trauma as well. I have witnessed that, even healthy quote unquote people, but then when they have the baby, they feel literally all the things you're feeling. It's an interesting phenomenon. It's just like how trauma is related to diabetes, which is very, very interesting. It's an interesting studies that they're finally coming out with and finally digging deep into our emotional bodies. And that's so important in this day and age. Yeah, that's okay. If you live in Sydney, that's okay. I work with. Listen, there's times where I have to wake up 2 a.m. to be on a call with someone all the way in London. So I only need 3 to 4 hours of sleep. I don't even need that much sleep. So wherever you are, we can make it work. Yeah. Yeah, mucus food is also part of it too. Is a link in bio to attend Brett Dojo online. I should actually just change it, but if you literally go into the main website, then go to events, it's right there. alchemybreath.work/events. It is right there. It's the online ticket and the in-person ticket as well. And if you're part of Breath Family, you get to Infinite Rising's Journey to Resilience. What's going on, sister? If you're part of Breath Family, there's also a discount code. Also, if you didn't check the new prices for the tickets, check them out. And we're offering, if you're bringing a friend, your ticket's technically free. So you guys can even split the ticket, basically, at that point. So definitely check it out. Hi, Majestic. Yeah, we're also going to go into some AMAs about scalar. I'm going to share a testimonial. And I'll keep on sharing testimonials because we're just in that day and age. More people need to know that these things exist. More people need to know that these things are possible. I think that's so important. Yeah, if you know anyone in Miami that would be interested, let them know. Thank you. Yeah, let them know. And online as well. This is, again, the first time people outside of Breath Family can join. And you also get the free gift. So I'm going to announce a free gift. The free gift when you come in person will be tensor rings. And I'll be showing you how to utilize them with breath mechanics and energy work in general. And this week as well will be the grand revealing of my tensor art. So I'll be sharing that because a lot of you were asking about it and pushing me to make some and share some. So this week will be the week, so look out for that. So I want to go over this testimonial right here. Oh, that's so small. I don't know if you guys can even read that. Let's see. I don't think I even have the full version, or do I? And I don't. Alright, we're going to have to go to the mini version. Bear with me. Alright, so check out this farm. So it's been, so he said, so far it's been 3 days. The entire property has this new kind of subtle hum of harmonious energy. Feels a bit more anchored to that peaceful and growth promoting frequency. And it makes me feel more present. Most of my asparagus shot up like a foot in 3 days. That's actually pretty. If you're in the farming or if you're in gardening in general, I used to plant some stuff as well back in the day. That's pretty fast. So before that, it was maybe grow like an inch a day. So most of the blueberries are ripening up now, sooner than intended, and it seems like the birds are more comfortable at the property, as I've been seeing a lot of the past few days. Bear with me, guys. It's a lot of sun here, and I can barely see the screen. Beside that, every new plant on the ground seems to be accumulating really easily to the soil. I transplanted farms from the forest into a yard 3 days ago, and they're already producing new fiddleheads, new growth. That's what it means. So they took like 1 day to get comfy in the soil, which has never been the case I've witnessed before. So if you don't know what we're doing with farms, if you own a farm, if you know a farm, let them know. They can send a picture in of their soil or their whole farm, and we'll put a biogeometric blueprint over it and put it on the scaler and run remote frequencies into the soil remotely. So that's why I wanted to share just that testimonial alone. In a few months, I'm going to have most of these farmers come on and just share what they've experienced firsthand just by using pictures. Just by using pictures. Yeah, that growth is crazy, crazy fast. Indeed. Miracles on a daily basis. Have you heard about a solar flash that's supposed to come? I mean, there's been a bunch that already came. This is not also the first time humanity has dealt with solar flashes. Yeah, if you're a farm, I'm doing this for free. So I'm happy I shared that testimonial so you guys could read it for yourself. Maybe I'll just have it on here for a little bit and you guys can read it for yourself. Someone goes, beautiful, a greenhouse has a big tensor generator and in it the plants are growing fast, man. Yeah, even if you have tensors and stuff like that, there are farms that have sent in pictures of their soil and they've witnessed some crazy stuff. So even if you have all that, send in a picture. It'll still help dramatically. It'll still help dramatically because you can do so much with the application of scalar, and they go harmoniously well together. Yeah, so if you want to send in the photos, or if you know a farm that wants to send in the photos, the email is devon@alchemybreath.work with the subject scalar farm. And you're only allowed to send in one photo. One photo per farm, or just one email per farm. Why does everything in reality look more HD? I mean, not sure what you mean by that, but I think I get you. I think I get you. Alright, any more questions about scalar, guys? Scalar or any Breath Dojo questions? Alright, someone asked how intense is Breath Dojo. So Breath Dojo, I have Breath Dojo 1 free on my YouTube, and you can get a taste of that. We've done 5 already, 5 in total. This would be the 6th one. And in the Breath Family members group, I'll tag you in a post. In the Breath Family members group, some days we'll go even 2 days straight. So that's a whole experience, and that just goes to show you, and check out the testimonials on the event page itself if you're really interested. Yeah, you're not going to pass out. You're not going to have a seizure. It's very different than pranayama or Wim Hof in that sense. And these are tools you can utilize in real world applications in real time. And that's also one of the main key points of Breath Dojo, showing you that you can do it all throughout the day and you're not going to pass out, you're not going to have a seizure, you're not going to have a crash like some breathwork does, towards the end. And one of the main reasons for that crash is because your body compensates. You may feel that energetic rush, like, oh snap, I'm feeling it right now. But what about keeping that steady rhythm throughout the day? How do you keep that steady rhythm throughout the day, avoiding that crash? Because what's happening for you to feel that crash is because you breathe a certain way like that, causing either cortisol to either go up, in a sense, and your body has to compensate for that later on. It's just like that coffee rush. It's To me, like certain breath works is literally like taking coffee, and it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Why are you still smoking? Why are you? Oh, I do breath work, but why are you still smoking? Oh, I do this. Why are you still smoking? Well, the type of breathing you do is very similar to smoking in a sense, where things like the type of breath pattern is almost similar to the aspect of feeding off an outside source to make you feel a certain way. Or if you're even in the sense of like, oh, I'm doing breath work to get high, you're still feeding a perpetual cycle, especially if you're trying to quote unquote quit smoking. They go hand in hand. People are not really truly addicted to the actual substance or habitual patterns. They're mostly addicted to the breathing pattern that comes with it, right? It's just like, I saw this trailer. I didn't even know Formula One racing was a whole new ball game, and why it's so popular. But when you see these guys spent almost a whole year prepping their bodies, prepping their mindset, and they're driving even faster than NASCAR apparently. I don't know what's the range, but yeah, it's so fast. Like, people lose their lives in this. And I saw one of them in the documentary focus on their breathing, right? So, you know, when you're in that state, you know, most of them, if you listen to their interviews, they're like, oh, the rush and my breathing, it just shifted my breathing. There it is. Everything you do, someone has something to do with your breathing. That's why I always say the outside world or the external world will rule the way you breathe until you rule the way you breathe, which goes hand in hand. Blessing. Oh, someone says, can you put up back the testimonial? Okay. There it is. Hi. Someone goes, smoking weakens the immune system. Yes and no. And I'll go over why yes and no. And why I'm not fully against even something like marijuana use, specifically marijuana, right? Why I'm not fully against it? Well, if you use it in a sense where you're abusing it, of course, you know, you're training your cannabinoid system to rely on an external thing. No matter how you look at the benefits, this and that, you are training to suppress your cannabinoid system to rely on that marijuana plant, right? But if you're using it at least periodically, it's not that bad. But again, regardless, if you want to go esoteric in a sense, you're blocking the most purest form of spirit in a sense, because you're putting weight on spirit in a sense, where you're inhaling something that holds density. Because, I mean, we live in matter already. That's enough density as it is. We're just numb to the fact that, like, what you're breathing in actually can sustain you in a sense, depending on how you breathe, right? And in the members group, I'm gonna do probably one of the longest inhale you've ever heard, and we're gonna turn that into a track, and that specific track is gonna go into the subliminal breathwork music with bees, and that specific track will go well with the frequency breather. If you have a frequency breather, you listening to it and also breathing it in at the same time, super potent and powerful combo together. But diving back into why would you want to taint, or not just taint, but why would you want to block off the deepest connection to 70% of you, which is your blood, but it's pumping 70% of your blood, right? Why would you ever want to block that off? But in general, if we're talking about, again, periodic usage, it's a great plant medicine to use. And when you do smoke and when you do feel what you feel during that high, notice how your breathing changes. You can do the exact same breathing, not smoking, not even ingesting it, and getting to that point of what you're feeling. Really notice, and specifically if you focus more on your nose, you can figure out what pattern the marijuana is getting you to breathe in a certain way, or the THC is getting you to breathe in a certain way. Someone goes, what are your opinions on those that say veganism is a trap and only a good diet but not for long term? They're somewhat right. And what do I mean by that? Well, you're not just ingesting plants in an everyday basis. I don't think veganism is even the right term in general. Most of these names for these diets don't make sense in a sense, because every breath you're somewhat eating, right? When you're in certain environments, you're quote unquote eating those emotions, right? So it's not just physical food, but what they mean, what some of them may not realize what they mean in terms of veganism being a trap, in a sense of putting themselves in a box, when in essence you can't be put in a box. I mean, you listen to a whole variety of different music that influences your body in a sense, right? It's technically food. And why do I say that? Well, what does food do? You eat the food, what is it doing? It's creating a chemical reaction. If you breathe a certain way, it creates a chemical reaction. If you listen to certain music and you feel a certain way, what do you think that feeling, what do you think that is? It's creating a chemical reaction. So the essence of veganism or even carnivorism is not even, we shouldn't be put in those boxes, because even the music you're listening to, did it come from a vegan? Right? Are we even considering that? Ooh, that's a deep one. That's a really good one. The music you're listening to, did it come from a vegan? That Cardi B you're playing didn't come from a vegan. So, in essence, humanity is not put in a box, right? In essence, we're more chemivores, if anything, or we're more feeding on the biophotons. But then there's the awareness. The awareness gives the essence to the density of what we can assimilate and absorb, but not just absorb, but create as well, co-create, to experience a deeper resonance of feeling like, hey, listening to this music actually makes me feel full in a sense. Listening to this subliminal breathwork music while I work out doesn't cause me to feel drained in a sense, right? Because as I'm opening my muscles and blasting that music, I'm not, it's a different experience, it's a different resonance of being. I'm even thinking about, bringing up my basketball shoes that I haven't worn in over 2 to 3 years up to Jersey and hoop, right? So I'm thinking like, well, when I play, if I do play, I'm going to be blasting subliminal breathwork music in the background while I play. And I'm also going to notice how different everyone around me is going to start to feel. And specifically, I'm going to use a scalar video too. So let's see if any detox symptoms come out of the players. So that's one of the things I want to low-key do. I did it with one NBA player. And when they're in scrimmage, he has his boy, played in the background. And you can tell it does something. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Reconstructing. If I eat out, I like to see how the chefs are feeling because of the same reason, says Ascended Trader. Yeah, if somebody makes music while angry or sad, we will absorb that energy if we listen to it. Yeah, I mean, even even if I'm even personally, like, I personally like to make my subliminals right after I do a one-on-one session or after a group session. Like, I'll come home and I'll just go at it. Like, I'm already in the mood, I'm already feeling that energy, and I want to ripple it into the music, right? Now, if I get um, into an argument with Jen or anything like that of that nature, right? Yeah, I don't want to record because I know subconsciously that I'm going to be putting some of that energy into the music. I don't want to do that, right? And it's very rarely we have arguments, but I'm just giving just an example in general. Or even if I'm in the midst of people that have a degrading energy, right? I don't want to record after that because just being in that space, like when I come out of that space, I'm in the aspect of reversing of like everything I've felt in that moment, in a sense. Not just reversing, but transmuting in a sense. And I think that's also a beautiful practice to ingrain in every single one of you. To when you're in certain spaces and oh, it doesn't feel like this, don't go home complaining like oh this and that, blah blah blah. Learn how to say. I'll give you one beautiful tip when you're in this moment, in those moments, right? You're in a degrading moment, and one affirmation I personally like to use when I'm in these moments is, with this breath, I'm accepting the complete opposite of what the grading sentences this person is spewing out or something in disharmonious to my resonance. I would say with this breath, as I'm breathing right now in this moment that I'm feeling, I'm not lying to myself in a sense. And a beautiful thing to note, when you're telling the truth, your hippocampus explodes even more. There's more connections to your brain. Truth. It's powerful. It's a powerful tool that we all can use, utilizing real time happenings versus imaginary. Ooh, imagine this. Oh, everything's going to be okay. Spiritual bypassing, all that stuff. Utilize reality as it is, not what it could be. Because when you accept reality for what it is, you dive deep into the journey of the truth of what brought that reality in the first place, allowing you to co-create more harmonious paths versus the one that you've done the work, quote unquote, to transmute into better or more harmonious, forget the better, more harmonious resonance of being, and putting you into better situations, attracting better situations, attracting better people. And that's also what the whole mental breathwork journey is about as well. So tap into that. If you want a great place to start, tap into the mental breathwork journey. I am now putting, when everyone asks me when they join the members group, like, hey, where's a good place to start? I'm always now pointing to mental breathwork journey because that just opens everyone's viewpoint of like, whoa, breath is not just one dimensional. It's not just the inhale, the exhale. It's so deeper than that. It's honoring that everything has the contrast that it does. Everything has the resonance that it does. And it's harmonizing with our contrasts as we go back and forth. What's going on, Celeste? Someone goes, what kind of breathwork do I practice? It's everything I talked about is alchemy breathwork. Oh, the amino acids. Okay. Someone goes, I don't eat out for that reason. Someone goes, what music exactly? Subliminal breathwork music. You can find it on my YouTube. It's all there. Well, not all of it is there, but some of it is there. Heidi Likic, I hope I'm saying your name right. Bro, the other day you said your breath always comes back to you in a couple days, helps me to remember to make sure to breathe good. And what he meant by breathe good, in a sense where you'll go to some ceremonies and they say, exhale what no longer serves you. I mean, at the end of the day, that exhale somewhat is going to serve you, right? So why are you tainting it? Why are you calling it this? Why are you calling it that? I would never curse the breath, right? Ever. And I'm hearing this in some breathwork ceremonies. I'm like, do they understand that that inhale you're about to take right now is like traveling all around the world, touching, seeing, feeling everything, coming right back to you? So why not enhance the filter? Why not embed something harmonious to that exhale? Transmute. Learn the aspect of transmutation versus demonizing, versus this, versus just beyond the aspect of degrading. When we can move from the level of degradation. Think about it. Degrading. It's like waste, right? Because when the waste is in the earth, it degrades, decays, but then the earth still use it, transmute it to nutrients. No matter, even if it's plastic, it'll take 100+ years, but at the end of the day, it still breaks down, right? And it's a beautiful process when I see people go through the mental breathwork journey and use it in their everyday life. They may feel like it's taking longer to harmonize certain things, but it still comes around. And it shows them, beyond the aspect of patience, it shows them like, hey, if this is happening and I've been going at it for 1 year now and it's shifting my whole reality in just 1 year, imagine what that does for you for a whole lifetime. That's the bigger picture we're not all really focused on. The macro. But in essence, still honoring the micro. Going beyond the aspect of spiritual bypassing. All that stuff again. As I was talking about. Yeah. I mean, it's like a boomerang. The breath is literally like a boomerang. It's like a boomerang. I'm going to re-upload that video where the physicist is literally talking about this. He was using aerodynamics, and then he got 3 to 4 days that your exhale like literally comes right back to you. The exact inhale you're about to take was that exhale 3 to 4 days ago. How wild is that? How wild is that? And we didn't even get into the aspect of trees. Let's talk about it now. Trees. Did you know trees come from the air? What do you mean they come from the air? Go look up the biology of a tree. So everyone think the tree grows from the earth, right? Well, what does a tree need? The tree needs water, right? Where does the water come from? Or even if you don't, okay, it's come from the clouds, right? Let's rewind backwards. So the water in the ground, sun comes up, heating up the Earth's atmosphere, which also creates air, by the way, heats up the Earth's atmosphere, causes precipitation, all that water. What's in that water? Nutrients, information, carbon, all in that water. Wait, what's in air? Water. Information. If you leave, and I think this was also in the world of fungi as well, that they showed how the mushroom spores into the air, creating that combustion with air pressure, combusting, and then boom, seeps into the earth, and then the trees grow. So technically speaking, trees come from the air, and they can't do without it. And even when that carbon gets absorbed into the tree, what's happening? It's pushing out that oxygen. Keyword, pushing out that oxygen that we quote unquote inhale. But we're not even factoring that 70% of our oxygen actually comes from the algae in the sea. Ooh, water. Wait a minute. Air, water. Are you getting the connection here? And water has memory, right? Man, oh man. I had this one testimonial of the girl who I'm doing CAP with, Kundalini activation. And she sent me a voice note about how she's been using the frequency breathers. We're going to do a live soon, and she'll share her experiences. But she's been using the frequency breathers after her sessions. Even during her sessions, she'll use it. And she's feeling less hungry, right? And she says, why do you think that is? I feel like the more structure the air is that I'm inhaling, the less I feel hungry. I feel nourished. Like when I eat, I feel even more nourished, that I don't want to finish the plate. And this is a girl that works out on a daily, right? So breath is information. Energy is information. It's also matter. You're not just inhaling everything. I'm also going to re-upload that video of this guy blowing into a balloon, and he's taking the dry, the hydrogen. He dips the balloon into the hydrogen. I forgot what. It's not just hydrogen. It's also nitrogen, liquid nitrogen. He's dipping the balloon into liquid nitrogen, and you could see the matter from the air that he breathed into the balloon. He starts shaking the balloon, and you see particles, even more particles in the balloon. You matter. So whenever I hear someone is being suicidal, this and that, I'm like, you matter. You breathing right now, it matters. It literally matters, because you're part of matter. You're part of the all that is. Because that exhale holds energy. It holds matter. So, in essence, if you're creating matter or co-creating at the same time, that's a purpose. That's a purpose in itself. And you should focus on that. Focus the fact that every breath is creating something. And when it's creating something, it puts you into more of the creator mindset versus being bombarded with what society wants on you. Even if, your view of what art looks like, if you go to someone that has been painting this and that, and you tell them your view of art is this, like, oh, it needs to be painting, it needs to be this. The mechanic is doing art. Not all mechanics do fix a car the same way. Some may take shortcuts. That is art. That's art. So in essence, all life is a matter of art. So the main question is, what are you breathing life into? What are you co-creating with your breath art? Because breath is what gives matter to anything you do, everything you do. Yes, I drink coconut water. This makes me more conscious of my breath output and the environment I'm in when releasing. Indeed it does. That's what mental breathwork is, a beautiful opening at this point. When I do my curriculum and I do certify people, like mental breathwork should be the main go-to when it comes to when these tutors, or I like to call them tutors, when they present this type of information to their one-on-ones, like mental breathwork. At least one specific aspect of mental breathwork should be in the first pillar of when they're doing their one-on-ones. For me, personally, it's become my first pillar when I do one-on-ones, because it opens such a vast alignment within you being reminded that, whoa, it's like this, and the other person, and when they go through it, they're like, whoa, life is psychedelic. It's not just that one time I take that ayahuasca or that one mushroom or that one puff of joint. Whoa, I can actually make my whole life psychedelic in every moment. Indeed. That's why these beautiful plant teachers are teachers. They teach you that, when you go on these plant teachers, always ask yourself, man, how am I breathing right now? Right? And then after you're off that medicine, try to recreate, like, man, how is I breathing in that exact moment? Remember the environment you were in down to the T of what you were wearing. Remember how your stomach was moving. Depending on what kind of medicine you're on, or plant medicine you're on. Yeah, remember how you threw up in that sense, whatever the case may be. Because every moment of that time, the breath was there, and you can use the breath as a string, bringing you back to that exact moment and tapping in deeper with the plant medicine beyond just actually taking the plant medicine, right? Before what the Western societies came to these indigenous tribe for something, let's start with ayahuasca. Let's just tap with ayahuasca, right? Did you know that the shaman would be the only person that would drink the ayahuasca? Everyone else would just sit there. And when he drank the ayahuasca and then he started singing Icaros, or I've seen actually some tribes just focus on their breathing, everyone around them starts either purging, crying, without even taking the actual medicine. Resonance. All about that resonance. They say we only see about 7% of the light spectrum. Something like quantum breathing. What do you think quantum breathing is doing to that light spectrum that only is visible to the naked eye? When you're exercising that type of muscle down with the echo breathing and combining them both together. I see some people on here have taken the mental breathwork, so that's what I'm saying. Why are you feeling that way? That's light is information, right? So when you tap into the echo and the quantum and you mesh them together, that is why you feel a certain way when you go outside and you do it. That's why you feel a certain way when you're inside and you do it, because you're more in a closed environment. So when it's bouncing, the energy is bouncing off the walls in a sense. It feels a lot different versus you being out in the sun, or even nighttime. Nighttime, there's a huge contrast there. I feel like nighttime you have to do a little bit way more because you don't have too much light to work with in a sense. So yeah, tap in. I can't seem to breathe deep enough when I'm on mushrooms, says James. Yeah, James, when you I've had that a couple times. I've helped people in certain ceremonies. So something like subliminal breathwork music, playing it while you're on even microdosing, and helping you quote unquote breathe deeper and deeper into it if you still want to partake in the mushroom journey in a sense. Playing subliminal breathwork music. When I did ayahuasca personally for myself in ceremony, everyone around me could hear how deep and how deep I was breathing, to the point when everyone was sharing, they were saying this, Devon, just hearing you breathe that deep helped me push through, right? That's why subliminal breathwork music specifically is so powerful. Words, mantras, the breath is what gives the energy to the mantras. The breath, just like Lao Tzu said, no mantra is more spiritual than just listening to the stream of the water. Counting prayer beads is no more spiritual than taking a nice long walk. What he meant was everything is spiritual, right? But why can't we just fast forward to the main pillar that is giving all of this animation, which is breath. When Tina Turner put me onto Namyo Renge Kyo, right? I took Namyo Renge Kyo, and it was so powerful. I personally witnessed how powerful mantras is, yes. But now I'm at the point where I'm inhaling Namyo Renge Kyo, and I'm saying that mentally. I'm exhaling Namyo Renge Kyo. And that just gives a different resonance of the mantra, whatever you want to use, or just a focus. And that way, you don't even have to dispel so much energy speaking it. Now it becomes a really internal journey with any mantras you want to use. Will I go live today again? I will not. Actually, I have to hop out here. Just Ash said, smoking weed also blocks my breath. It does. It does. It does. There's other ways of, using it as well. You don't have to smoke it, guys. If you really love the marijuana plant so much, you don't have to smoke it. You can literally have it in your hand. And I learned this from a homeless person, by the way. And this was someone I donated my bike to. If you guys were with me last year, I donated my bike to this homeless person. I was live and I was talking about my experience and what I've learned from a billionaire when I used to live in Cali. And it was a deep, deep story about that. But when I donated my bike, that same homeless guy told me that, because he was trying to give me some marijuana, and I'm like, no, I don't smoke, brother. And he's like, no, you don't even have to smoke it, just having it on you, and it reminded me of the practice when I got initiated about having fruit, sleeping with fruit next to your head. If you're on a long fast, right, and the fruit you're gonna break your fast with, sleeping with it next to your head specifically, it's a powerful ceremonial thing you can do. If you're on a long fast and you want to break the fast with eating fruit or drinking the fruit, whatever the case may be, sleeping it with it next to you, meditating with the fruit on your heart, super powerful. But the marijuana, right? It has seeds. That's seed energy. I feel like any fruit, you can take any fruit. This is why the Rudrakshas are so powerful, right? And there's also science behind the Rudrakshas, like actual science that scientists have themselves look at, where they see low blood pressure, that it's harmonizing with your body. And I think it takes 5 days for the Rudrakshas to harmonize with your auric body and your magnetic field, right? Seeds. You get any seeds and just have it on you. In 5 to 7 days, you will feel a different resonance. Crystals are not just powerful, but just having seeds on you. Seeds, they're also powerful. So, back then, if you read certain scriptures, the mushroom plants were huge, right? And I felt that you can just go next to the mushroom plant, do breath work, and get a deeper sense of connection with the mushroom plant without even eating it, because the spores, right? The spores. So you're doing breathwork right next to it and feeling that harmonious resonance. And I know some of you, if you're really energetically sensitive, I'm sure you felt like when mushrooms are in your presence, like you feel a certain way, like you're actually on it, right? Without even taking it. What do you think that is? You don't have to physically eat the plant. You can do so much without eating the plant. Just having seeds. Seeds. What do seeds represent? Ask yourself that. And for many of you, it may mean different things, but to the general population, you put the seed in the earth, it grows, right? That's what the seed represents, that earthly energy, that fertile energy. Powerful. So guys, for the free Breath Dojo ticket in person, if you're coming in person, you get to bring a friend, so that way you two can split the ticket prices if you want. We're also doing it online as well. This is this Saturday. Again, this is the first time we're allowing people outside of Breath Family to join in. And you'll get all the recordings, even if you can only do 3 or 2. You'll get all the recordings at the end of Breath Dojo 6. So if you have any questions about Breath Dojo 6, DM me, send me an inbox. My inbox is flooded. So I do want to note, if you're a farm, email me please. Don't DM me the pictures. Email me, devon@alchemybreath.work, with the subject scalar farm, and we'll put your farm onto the scalar and we'll run remote frequencies into the scalar. I already showed you a testimonial there. Go on my page. I'm going to be uploading maybe, I have so many, but maybe 2 more. I honestly want to get these farmers on live here and just share their experiences rather than just posting written testimonials. I do accept them if you're one of the farmers. Thank you. But it'd be nice to really have a conversation, because this whole save the soil thing, right? That's being pushed. Like, what are we actually doing? And some of these influencers know about frequency medicine. Some of these they know all about that. They know about scalar. Some of them follow me, right? They know all about that. And yet they're interviewing people who are big and have bigger platforms on Save the Soil, but yet, why aren't you talking about, like, hey, have you ever heard about this being done with this? We've seen that it healed this. So don't you think it can work with soil? So again, why are we feeding into a degrading cycle of, like, oh, I'm interviewing him because he's popular and he's going to make my page grow and he's all about save the soil. Yay! Let's dive deeper than that. I think society as a whole we put ourselves in a box. Going back to the whole box thing, we put ourselves in a box already enough. I think it's time we let all hell loose. All hell loose. And today I will be finding out if I'll be able to document my experience shifting into a hydro car. So stay tuned for that, because when I go up to Jersey, we're going to make it happen, and I'm going to interview my friend John the mechanic and his experience, what his experience is going to be like. I'm going to start at the first part of the stages with hydro. I do have a video, though, that I do want to play. Maybe I'll go live later, so I got to hop off right now because I got things to do. But I will come back on here and show you how my mileage has increased using tensors. And this week, since so many of you are pushing me to put out tensors, shout out to Pranaki Shivambi. He's going to be bringing some of his tensors to Breath Dojo 6 in person. So everyone will be gifted some, and we're going to be utilizing it during Breath Dojo as well. So if you are tapping in online as well, get your tensors ready. If you have some, it's going to be a fun experience, and I'm going to show you how we can even utilize it for organ breathing. I'm also going to go over other devices, specifically in Breath Family, that is so peculiar similar to organ breathing, and it's so wild. Alright guys, peace, harmony, and share this if you found value.